Welcome to the Kaleidoscope tutorial. I'm going to start off with a new document, so I'll go File, New, and I'm going to change this to 8 inches by 8 inches and 200 dpi. I'm going to start with a nice perfect square. White background, RGB color, 8-bit, and I'll click OK. I need to have my rulers out on the stage. So if you don't have your rulers, you need to go to View, Rulers, or Control-R. The next step is to drag on some rulers. I'm going to drag on a ruler right to the center. I'm going to let it snap to 4 inches, and then down here to 4 inches. Then I'm going to throw on 2 more guides. One right along the left edge, let it snap, and one along the top edge. In order to create my triangle, which is the starting point for my kaleidoscope, I'm going to use the polygon lasso tool, which is right here underneath the lasso tool, right there, polygon lasso tool. I'm going to start down here right in the center of my stage, and I'll just click. And I know because I've got my guides out that it's going to snap to that intersection right there. And I'll bring it up to the top and click right there at the top. And in this corner, one more click and then a 4th click. And I know that I've put my polygon lasso tool right over top of the first point because it creates a little extra circle there. Now I've got a marquee, made a selection here, and I'll need to create a new layer, and I'm going to fill this with black. Now a quick way to change your colors back to black and white is to click this small icon, this black and white icon, or hit D on the keyboard. And I'm going to do an Alt backspace, which is the fast way to fill. Alt backspace, and I'm going to do that a few times, and I'll tell you why. Because if I zoom in here, I'm doing a Control plus to zoom in. We can see I'm at 600% now, 700, 800, 1200%. I'm zoomed in as far as I can go, and notice that I've got gray pixels here, and that's the software's way of making it look like a nice smooth line rather than a jagged line. It's called anti-aliasing, and it's going to mess up my final product. So I really want to fill this in with solid black. So I'm going to do another Alt backspace. And again, I'm just going to keep doing this a few more times until I'm positive that these are completely filled with black. And I know it's going to look jagged, but that's okay because it's going to piece together quite nicely for me, like a puzzle piece. And I'll do a Control minus to zoom back out. I'm going to go to Select, Deselect, or Control D, and there's my triangle, my first triangle. I don't need my guides, so I'm just going to go View, Clear Guides for now. There we go. Now I will often drag this layer down and have a duplicate, just so I don't have to recreate that triangle again if I don't like what I've done with my initial triangle. So I'll just hide that, and I'm just going to work with this layer right here. I'm going to grab my eraser tool, and I'm going to find some brushes. I've loaded some brushes up, and I know that my students may not have these particular brushes, and they may only have a few of the default brushes, but there's lots of brushes on the Q drive. So we simply click Load Brushes, and we navigate to the Q drive. So you go to My Computer, you find the Q drive. I need you to go to Q, Handout, R. Wallace, New Media 9, or AGA 15, and you'll find a folder called Brushes in there. And just select a brush, load it, and it'll load up with all of your other brushes. And what I'm going to do is grab one of these brushes and have a look and see what it looks like. Yeah, maybe something like that. That may be a little bit too big, so I'm just going to bump this down a bit and work with it like that. And the idea here is that I'm going to erase this background. And I'll just do a Control plus. Hit the space bar, drag down so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to just stamp this once. Right about there. I'm going to stamp it once. And I can see what's happened there with that brush. I think I'll move it over here and see if that's going to do anything differently for me. Maybe not. Maybe I'll bring that down here and I'll use this brush across there. And we'll see how that looks. I will find another brush. Something like that. Hey, that's not too bad. I can work with that. Something like that. Maybe bump this up a little bit. I'm going to hit my hard bracket. That's just by the Enter key. And make this something like that. Now, this is almost like cutting out a snowflake. Remember cutting out snowflakes when you were a kid in elementary? And we're really going to deal with the edges. So I'm going to see what this one looks like. I'm going to click a few more times, like so. And maybe I'll do one more brush, and then we'll get to it and we'll see what this looks like. Just rolling with my scroll wheel, and I'll click right there a couple of times. Cool. Okay, we'll see what this looks like. I'm going to get my move tool again, and I'm going to zoom out, Control minus, there we go, so you can see my stage. And I'm going to duplicate this. There's several ways to duplicate. Grab layer 1 copy, drag it down to the new layer icon. I can do a Control J, or I can hold the Alt key on the keyboard and simply drag off another layer. And I'm just going to drag it off and let it snap to the top there. Then I need to swap it, or pardon me, flip it. So I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, and Flip Horizontal. Then I need to move into position and let it snap. There we go. That doesn't look too bad. Now I'll need to merge these. So I'll do a Control E or right click and merge down. I'm not going to merge visible because that'll merge everything except this hidden layer. I'm not going to flatten the image, but I'll merge it down so that those top two layers are merged together. And I'll do another duplicate. I'll do a Control J this time. Edit, Transform, and I'm just going to rotate this 90 degrees clockwise. And then drag this over, let it snap. And then a Control E, and another Control J to duplicate, and then Edit, Transform, and I'm going to rotate this one 180 degrees. No, I'm going to rotate this, 180 degrees. So now I've got the copy over here, and I'll let it snap into position. I know there's a little bit of an edge there, but it's sort of a, because I'm at 33.33%. So I'm going to do another Control E, merge it, that gets rid of the line. That's not too bad. I'm kind of liking that. Next step, go to the background layer, and I'm going to find myself a gradient with the gradient tool. And right now it's set to this rainbow color. You can do lots of different colors in there. You can create your own gradient. Lots of different ones down here as well. I'm just going to go with the rainbow just to show you what this is going to look like. And I'm going to start right here in the center because I have it set to radial. And actually, I'll hide this layer. And, oh, you know what? I won't hide that layer because I'll just use it for my center. And I'll just drag it down here and let go. And it creates a very interesting gradient like that. And if you deal with your colors properly, you can have a lot of depth because the darker colors will go to the back, the lighter colors will tend to move to the front, and you can create a lot of depth in your mosaic using this kind of idea of light tones, dark tones. Sometimes the linear gradient works well, but I'll often stick with the radial gradient in order to make sure that the colors are all kind of even around my square. So that's it. Make more. Go back here, duplicate this, hide it again, start over, take your eraser tool, find different brushes, find different methods of erasing pieces, and then do the process again and just compare, see what they look like, and have fun with it.